I am sure, certain as the day is bright, that these two things are completely unrelated. And I'm being serious. I think they probably are unrelated. I don't have any proof otherwise, so we'll just go that they're unrelated. But have you seen this headline from 3 days ago? 2 days, just a few days ago. July 10th, 3 days ago. Again, sleep deprived. Donald Trump threatens to send Mark Zuckerberg to prison if he is elected. Donald Trump suggested he'd imprison election fraudsters, including Mark Zuckerberg, if reelected. The feud between Trump and the Meta CEO dates back to Trump's presidency. Trump was temporarily barred from Facebook after the January 6, 2021 insurrection. Business Insider, not Capitol riot. Quit carrying water for the Republican propaganda narrative about the insurrection. That's an aside issue. So this was 3 days ago. Now, I would ask the question, how long does it take to be let off the hook for attempting to overthrow the United States government, attempting to end democracy in America? How long would it take for Facebook to say, that was terrible, you're banned from our platform, to, all right, everything's back to normal, you're a normal presidential candidate, all restrictions are lifted? Apparently, it is 1,283 days. That is the time from the insurrection until yesterday. Because this is the headline from Axios. Meta, meaning Facebook, removes Trump account restrictions ahead of 2024 election. There are systems in place in this country, including the media, including billionaire social media company owners, that are working real hard to give Donald Trump every advantage they can, up to and including lifting restrictions on what was and continues to be a dangerous individual with ill intent for the country. A nefarious character with sinister plans, up to and including overthrowing the United States government. But apparently there's a very short memory over at the Facebook. Here's the article. Meta on Friday said it would soon roll back restrictions it placed on former President Donald Trump's Instagram and Facebook accounts. The company said it was making the change to ensure parity among presidential candidates leading up to the 2024 election. There is no parity between the candidates, Mark Zuckerberg. There's no parity between one man who's doing a good job, not clawing away at freedoms and tearing away at constitutional protections and attempting to end democracy in our country, and the guy who's doing those things. Joe Biden there is no parity between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. None. But not if you ask Facebook billionaire Mark Zuckerberg, or Twitter billionaire Elon fascist dumb Musk. Don't fall for this nonsense that, it's just a standard election. It's not. Since being reinstated in January 2023, Trump's accounts have been subject to stricter penalties than other Meta users, including account suspensions and advertising restrictions, if he violated the company's rules. While those penalties were designed to limit any public figure's accounts during civil unrest, Donald Trump's accounts were the only ones that have so far been subject to those restrictions, a spokesperson confirmed. And for good reason. It's not an accident. It wasn't arbitrary. He attempted to end democracy in America, ushering in a dictatorship. And he said so much in recent months. Dictator on day one, suspend all rules and regulations and articles up to and including the Constitution of the United States. Zuckerberg's here for it. He was here for it in 2016 with the Cambridge Analytica nonsense. Neither of Trump's official accounts on Instagram or Facebook violated the company's policies during his restriction period, which meant his accounts never triggered those penalties. Meta decided to roll back the restrictions to Trump's accounts amid concerns that a smaller policy violation could result in his account being suspended or limited leading up to the election, the spokesperson said. If Trump were to violate Meta's policies for a minor infraction, such as posting a person's address without permission, the restrictions could suspend his account for up to 2 years, which would block him from reaching users during the final months before the election. Are you hearing that? They're lifting all the restrictions, so when he invariably absolutely violates, it'll just be a minor penalty and not just a complete suspension. They're working in service to Donald Trump. They're carrying water for Donald Trump. While Meta is doing away with the stricter penalties on Trump's account, it maintains its ability to limit the distribution of problematic posts for any of his accounts, even if they don't explicitly violate Meta's rules, such as oblique references to QAnon. We live in a time, in a space in America, where the president or the former president of the United States, the wannabe next president of the United States, might share QAnon-associated conspiracy theories on a social media platform reaching tens of millions of people. Remember what I said about there being no parity between the candidates? They're admitting it right here. They're just not saying it explicitly. Trump's accounts and those of all politicians and public figures are still subject to the same general content rules that apply to all users of Meta apps. In assessing our responsibility to allow political expression, we believe that the American people should be able to hear from the nominees for president on the same basis, Meta President of Global Affairs Nick Clegg said in a statement. I wonder what they would have done in the 1930s with a Hitler type, with a Hitler, if there had been social media. Would they say, well, in assessing our responsibility to allow political expression, we believe that the German people should be able to hear from the nominees for chancellor, including Adolf Hitler. Is that what they would do? What's your guess? I think it's pretty clear that's what they would do. People, they're owed an even playing field platform between the people at play here. And we're going to give every opportunity. And then, of course, I want to remind you once again what suspended Donald Trump. Meta and many other social media platforms barred Trump soon after the January 6, 2021 insurrection on the United States Capitol for breaking their rules over fears of further incitements of violence. What was that number? 1,283 days. Apparently, that's the length of the memory of Facebook and other social media companies. This, the goldfish brains of Mark Zuckerberg and Nick Clegg, is going to do damage to the United States. They have no fealty, no loyalty, no appreciation for this country that has provided them so much. They're willing to tear it all down. They're willing to allow it to be torn down. What do you think? I'd love to know. You can call, leave me a voicemail, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me as always, daily at dollemore.com. Please consider supporting this work. If you appreciate what I do here in this independent media space, please, $2 a month makes a huge difference. If I'm able to marshal the size of this growing audience, I would appreciate your consideration very much. Click the join button, become a channel member. Go over to my Patreon page, patreon.com/IDoubtIt podcast. Follow me on social media. I'm there less and less, at Dollemore everywhere, including the dipshit, his platform. I would love to see you there if you're already there. As I say, I'm not encouraging you to sign up, but if you're there, let's connect. Dangerous times. Dangerous times. I'll see you next time. Until then, be genuine and take care of one another.